What is Docker? Docker is nothing but it is a platform that allows us to build, test and deploy applications quickly. And we can quickly deploy and scale applications into any environment. It means it's not environment specific. Okay, it can be used in any kind of environment. It can deploy applications using Docker in any environment. And it packages software into standard units called containers. Let's assume her name is Mary. Okay, this guy is John. Okay, Mary developed some code in her local and she tried to check it whether it's working or not. It's working in her mission and she sent to the tester John and she asked whether the code is working. This guy John is saying like the code is not working. But how this the containers resolve that issue I will explain you now. Okay, I will explain you how I faced some issue a few days back in my personal life. What is that and how we resolved it. Okay, and few days back one of my colleague in my past project, okay, I have a colleague, let's assume his name is A and I am B. Okay, we both moved to a new project, okay, to X. So manager assigned us some Jira tickets, right? We have enhancements, it's a common thing. And I was a backend developer to my colleague, and for me he assigned me a backend changes. We are both backend developers and we are done with our backend changes, so we have to integrate it with front end. Our enhancement is like the changes are required from both backend and front end. So I was done with my backend changes. I asked front end developer for integration, so he also done the changes in the front end, so he given the code to me. Okay, and I tried to start that front end application with his changes, but the front end application is not starting. Like, I don't know why. We are using React. The React is not starting React app. We're getting some different kind of issue. And I asked my colleague who worked with me in my past project. I just given the changes to him and I asked him to test it. Even in his mission, it's not working. And in all other teammates' missions, this React is working. And okay, and we are irritated with this, and I have given my backend changes to the front end guy, and in his mission it's working fine. We were confused why it's happening with us. Okay, we are the new teammates with you guys in our mission. Only this code changes are not working for React, and even the React app is not at all starting. So we don't want to mess with that, and we just deployed it in Docker. Okay, using Jenkins Docker integrations. Okay, we deployed it in a container. It's working fine. Okay, everything is done. So we want to understand why it's happening. So we started comparing our Node.js version. Okay, so what happened means we two new guys install some latest version of Node.js version, and the older teammates have some other Node.js version. So there is some difference between the Node.js version. That is the reason that the same app which is supporting in the other guys' missions are not working in our mission. Okay, there is some version mismatch in the software. So how we able to resolve this easily? How we got to know this? We deployed in Docker. So we got a confirmation like that there is no problem in code, there is a problem in mission. Okay, so with the help of Docker, and we try to resolve the issue. We got to confirm there is no issue in code. Okay, I'll explain now why some code not worked on different mission. Dependency with version mismatch from one mission to another, and software version mismatch from one mission to another. That is the reason I mentioned the point here. I faced it few days before. So if we don't have a Docker, we have to try it in multiple missions, and we are not sure whether it will work in after deploying. Okay, and it's a lot of time waste, right? And after that, we can also get the sometimes code corrupted while transferring. Okay, these are some reasons why the same code don't work on different machine. How Docker is resolving the issue. Docker containers allow a developer to package applications with necessary dependencies and ship it out as a one package. Okay, and so developer can develop his code and he can deploy it, and he can give the hosted URL to the testing team, so they can simply use it. There is no problem with the code not working in different missions like that. Okay, now I will give you some quick overview about the Docker architecture. You can observe here we have a client, Docker host, registry, images, daemon, container, and images. Okay, I will explain you one by one what these things are. What is Docker client? Docker client is the primary way that many Docker users interact with Docker. When you use commands such as docker run, our Docker client sends these commands to the Docker daemon, which carries them out. The Docker command uses the Docker API. Okay, the Docker client can communicate with more than one daemon. What is Docker daemon? This Docker daemon listens for the Docker API request and manages Docker objects such as images, container, networks, and volume. And a daemon can also communicate with other daemons to manage Docker services. Okay, we can also call these things as Docker objects, images, container, network, volumes. Okay, what is an image? An image is a read-only template which instructions for creating a Docker container. Often image is based on another image. Like we all know, right? For every image, it will be developed on the base image. Okay, we are going to look into these things in our further tutorials. I will not explain these things in detail now. What is a Docker container? Docker container is nothing but a runnable instance of an image. It means when we run an image, it will create a container. Okay, you can start, create, stop, move, or delete a container using Docker API or CLI. Okay, and you can also connect a container to one or more network and attach storage to it, or even create a new image based on its current state. And what is the Docker host? Docker host is used to provide an environment to execute run applications. It contains Docker daemon, images, container, network, and storage. And what are these Docker registries? Docker registry store Docker images. Docker Hub is a public registry that anyone can use, and Docker configured to look for images and Docker Hub by default. Even we can run our own private registry. Sorry, it's not repository, it's private registry. If you observe in our companies, they have some custom enterprise registries, right? There are some kind of private registries, okay? And when you use the Docker pull or Docker run commands, the required images are pulled from your configure registry. When you use the Docker push command, your image is pushed to configure the registry. I think so you guys got it now. We have two kind of registries, public and private. Usually when you are doing some practice or some learning Docker, we will use the public repository, but it come to the companies who are maintaining their code related registry images or something else. They will use their enterprise registries. Okay, and I will explain you some tools which are designed by Docker. Docker Desktop. It provides a simple interface that enables us to manage our containers, applications, images directly from our machines without having to use CLI to perform core actions. It's a very useful, guys. Even if you don't have Docker Desktop, please try to install it. I will give you a link in our comment section how to install this Docker Desktop. Okay, what is this Docker engine? It is an open source containerization technology for building and containerizing your application. What is Docker Hub? It is a service provided by Docker for finding, sharing your container images with Docker team. And what is this Docker machine? It is a tool that lets you install Docker engine on virtual host and manage host with the Docker machine commands. What is the Docker Swarm? Docker Swarm is a group of either physical or virtual machines that are running the Docker application and have the configured to join together in a cluster. What is Docker Compose? It is a tool that developed to help define and share multi-container application. I think so now you guys got some idea what is Docker and what are tools designed by Docker and Docker architecture and how Docker works and how it helps us to resolve some kind of dependency issues or mismatch things and how we can simply use it. Okay, in further coming tutorials we can discuss more about this Docker. Okay, please subscribe and like our video so you can get our future updates. Okay, thank you guys.